right, so I'm talking with Ann Smith, VP Brand Management Design and Compliance with Choice Hotels. Talking all about the brand new Clarion Pointe brand that they announced is coming earlier this year. Ann, welcome aboard, and congratulations on the new brand.
Hey, thanks, Glenn. Great to be here.
Hey, so great to have you. I feel like that every time I see you, your title is getting longer and longer. Am I just making that up?
No, you're not making that up, but it's just more and more of good things happening here at Choice that I'm happy to be part of.
That's great. If you add another couple of titles to it, your business card's going to be so big, you're going to bankrupt the company with oversized cards or something like that.
Well, that's why we just got to go all digital now, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So congratulations, you've announced the launch of a brand new brand extension, Clarion Pointe. I thought it'd be easier if I just left it up to you, since you're the brand champion. Tell us a little bit about what the brand is specifically, how it plays off the Clarion brand, and why you felt that this was the right time to introduce this extension.
Great. So Clarion Pointe is a brand extension off of our well-established Clarion brand. And so we were able to create this brand extension with some connections to the parent, but also carving out a space for it to play in its own right. This is all about bringing in some of the trends that we've seen in upscale, lifestyle, and bringing that to the mid-scale segment in a way that limited service operators can execute successfully.
Well, that's interesting. So how do you do the same sorts of ideas, at least the same thought process, but make sure that it goes through the right channels in order to be appropriate for that mid-scale audience? Because the last thing you want to do is have any sort of lack of clarity between your brands.
Right. So, research is key, and looking at what's happening in the marketplace and listening to the voice of our guest is really important, because we're trying to carve out something that will be, unique and differentiated, but that guests will recognize and understand the, why this is at a mid-scale price point versus at a more upscale price point. So, for example, when we think about things like design is important in a lot of areas. It's a really critical component of, let's say, our Sleep In brand, which is an all-new build brand. But thinking about, design for a limited service operator, they're really looking for ways to tap into things that are modern and current and contemporary, but in a way that fits the what they're looking to do with their existing asset. So when we talk about contemporary design finishes, we're looking at it in a very specific way and how a hotel can activate that in the guest room and in the public space, but in a way that's going to be more affordable and allow more ease of entry.
So you're thinking about more key point touchstones that really explain what the brand is visually and aesthetically, rather than trying to touch every single piece of material that's in the entire property.
Correct. And that's why when we were developing our brand hallmarks, we called them our focal points.
Yes.
Obviously,
very
nice
cute. I totally picked up on that.
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome.
So we have four key focal points. One of which is that contemporary design touches, which I mentioned. Another one is the curated food and beverage. Now, this is a great connection to our Clarion parent. So Clarion is more of a full service operation, and there's food and beverage, there's a bar. But for a limited service hotel that's looking to execute on some of those added extras that guests are looking for, particularly when they're on these experiential trips, we created this opportunity around curated food and beverage, which enables owners to sell beer and wine, but they can do it in a way that is flexible to them, whether it's from the marketplace or it's from a self-serve tap. So that curated food and beverage is important. And the other thing that we did was we looked at breakfast, and we said, how do we take a limited service box and really reinvent the breakfast so that it's not the same old, same old? And we focused on what our guest was looking for, which is more nutrition-forward options, and also what the operator was looking for, which was less stuff. So it created more ease with forecasting and just the cost of maintaining all of the equipment and then storage, et cetera.
Right. I feel like the breakfast wars over time, Ann, have really pushed it to have so many different items on the breakfast availability for a mid-scale hotel, something that's not necessarily requested by the people that are staying there. So I like your idea of fresh and nutritious items. What does that really translate to in the real world? Because I love the fresh fruit, for example, and that's really all I need in a good cup of coffee. So what are you focused on?
Well, great that you want a good cup of coffee because that's what you'd get at Clarion Pointe. So we're working with Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf to be our provider of premium coffee and tea all day, 24/7. That is free.
Mm-hmm.
And then yes, we're providing some fresh fruit, and it'll be some fresh cut fruit in addition to
Great.
whole fruit that you've come to expect. And then we're going to focus on things like Greek yogurt and maybe hard-boiled eggs to provide
Beautiful.
that protein component, and then more whole grains. So the other thing is that we're looking at how do we curate this experience for the breakfast. So, for example, some suggestions, what's a power breakfast? Maybe it's peanut butter and a banana and a slice of whole wheat toast. Or maybe it's protein to fuel your day, which starts really with that foundation of maybe the hard-boiled egg.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to enable guests to kind of create and personalize their breakfast because we know personalization is such an important factor when a guest is making a decision about where they want to stay, and also in terms of what they say about their stay.
Yeah. And especially if, we tend to remember the first moments of a stay and the last moments of stay. And if they're checking out right after breakfast, you want to have that good, strong impression. I would think that they're going to carry with them when they start to tell people what a great experience they had wherever they were staying. Like the idea with the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, Anne. It's a little bit different, and it's a brand that's not necessarily known as much over here on the East Coast, but people on the West Coast love that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It started in California, real homegrown business. And, we think it's a great opportunity for us to give some awareness to that brand as well. And, guests will be walking out of the door with their Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf coffee in hand and their Choice Privileges coffee cup. And it's just going to be a great brand awareness for all.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about, what the purpose was for you bringing this into the marketplace at this time. What was the development community saying, and how did you arrive on a brand extension rather than creating something from whole cloth?
Right. So in listening to what developers and owners were asking for, they want more opportunities to start differentiating themselves within the limited service space. There's a lot of excitement within the mid-scale segment, which is great. And that's coming from the consumer. It's coming from existing owners. So we wanted to look at how could we look at what's happening, not just in mid-scale, but across the spectrum and other segments of the industry as well, and then tailors that experience to something that really fits in mid-scale. So if you're a limited service operator, 80 rooms, you're looking to do something different with your property. You want to drive rate. You want to capture a different guest. Well, that different guest is also a guest that expects more. So we really wanted to look at what are the things that we could bring into that hotel experience, enable the limited service operator to execute it successfully, and then ultimately delight the guest so that we can continue to have that likelihood to return score go up, and then ultimately continue to fuel the development of the Clarion Pointe brand. So the reason for thinking about a brand extension versus a whole new brand, this is awareness is the name of the game when you're launching a new brand. And we have a brand in Clarion that is very well known. We've got, 300 Clarion hotels open around the world, and they have that specific association with having opportunities to socialize and maybe a little bit more of an interesting public space. So we knew that we already had something in the Clarion brand. And quite frankly, this really enables us to propel the awareness of the Clarion Pointe brand more effectively and more efficiently as we're ramping up and launch.
Right, because you've already got nearly 300 of these Clarions that have been in existence for quite some time. I can't even remember when the brand first started, but I've had recollection of it for at least 25 years or so. I feel like maybe it's even been around longer. So you're already 300 hotels in the consumer consciousness ahead of the pack than if you had just started with zero. That's kind of the whole philosophy, right?
That's the whole name of the game. You've got it.
And that is the name of the game today, especially when we're talking about how many brands there are out there. And, I got a tiny little brain, hard for me to keep all of those different brands inside my head. So to be able to just add an extra word onto a brand and have two brands in my head makes it a lot easier for me. And I would think also consumers that are out there in the audience to be able to do it. So what are developers thinking about that? What are they looking for in a property, and how is this going to fit their needs from the financial side of things?
Well, they're looking for ways that they can upgrade their property, but again, do it in a way that fits what they think their overall return on investment should be and where this fits into their larger portfolio if they own multiple hotels. So again, that comes back down to why we've got these focal points. So executing on that design through these signature murals is a cost-effective way to really give a high-impact look and feel to the guest room as well as the lobby. The food and beverage that they can, figure out how they want to serve the beer and wine in a way that fits their business model and what their market demands. This on-demand connectivity, that's an opportunity to really deliver that frictionless technology experience. So guests are looking to have a similar feel when they stay in a hotel as when they stay at home. So why can't I bring my phone or my tablet or whatever I have into my hotel room and stream whatever show I would have streamed at home? So it's really focused on the TV experience, the in-room entertainment, that casting capability that we're going to require on the 49-inch TVs. So you're really going to be able to have that experience. And that on-demand connectivity also extends into the fitness center, which is also an area that we think really differentiates Clarion Pointe as a conversion brand in the mid-scale space. Mm-hmm. So the fitness center is equipped to be a properly functioning fitness room that doesn't look like somebody just threw a bunch of treadmills into a guest room.
Right.
So there's going to be a special flooring, there's a mirrored wall, there's a mural, there could be some curated exercise suggestions, whether you're doing a cardio workout or a strength workout. There will be cardio equipment, there will be strength equipment. And we have managed a configuration that can fit into a bay, but there's certainly opportunities to extend that should the existing space warrant it. And I mentioned the casting capabilities. We're going to include TVs within the fitness room that have casting capabilities. So as we've seen trends around, streaming fitness workouts when you're on the go, I do that. And so having the ability to actually stream a workout as I'm on the treadmill or on the spin bike, just as I would at home, is something that's really, really attractive to these guests that are having higher expectations and that want a stronger connection between what they can do at home or what they can do in their community and what they want to do when they're on the road.
Great. And I do want to underscore that this is a conversion brand, which is why Ann was talking about a specific bay and not just throwing some treadmills into that. So a lot of times, historically, people, when the fitness craze started coming in, people started realizing, we need to have fitness centers. They would convert one of their guest rooms, for example, into a fitness center. And you want to try to take that to the next level. You want to try to make it as easy as possible and inexpensive as possible for owners to be able to make the switch over, but still have something that creates a very distinct kind of experience for the customer. Is that kind of what you're saying there?
Exactly. I think another way to think about it is that guests are looking for what I call affordable premiums.
Right.
And when you think about it, that's exactly what the owner is looking for too. How do I upgrade my box, but do it in a way that's affordable? How do I signal some premium so that I can command a higher rate in my market, but do it in a way that I'm not going to be, upside down when it comes to the investment and the return on that?
How much did you partner with your existing franchising, potential franchisees when developing the Clarion Pointe brand?
Well, we've been talking with our owners, off and on for a long time. And when we specifically started going down this territory of Clarion Pointe, we got some of them in the room and asked them what they would think about this kind of a concept and whether they were existing owners that were, in our fold or potential owners that we were luring into the fold. Each of those groups really resonated with this idea of something that is select service, versus full service and versus limited service, but really select service plays in that middle area, but at a mid-scale cost. That was something that they said they hadn't seen from other franchisors, and that's part of what reinforced that we knew we were onto something.
Excellent. You've already have more than 50 franchise agreements in development pipeline. That's pretty amazing right out of the box. Congratulations.
That's right. And, we launched in late September, and since launch, let's just say the interest in this brand has almost doubled.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, congratulations to you on this. I guess my last question I have for you is anywhere I should put my money on which the first one is going to be, because, I like to gamble on first hotels with new brands.
Oh, Well, if you were going to pick a horse in a horse race, it's hard to tell. We've got a few candidates that are really running neck and neck. So we've got Medford, Oregon, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Florence, Mississippi, and it looks like it's pretty much a tie right now between Gatlinburg and Florence. So we're working with both of those owners to make sure that they have everything they need to get set up and open. So, I don't know. My money might be on Gatlinburg, but you never know.
I don't know.
Check back in with me in a month, and I'll let you know.
I will do that, but I'm thinking maybe a little PR opportunity here. Open 2 on the same day in different areas of the country. I think that would be a pretty good PR move. But hey, what do I know?
If the stars align, we'll do it.
What's that?
If the stars align, we will do that.
Excellent. And anything else that you want to see? I guess I should give you an opportunity to tell people how to find out more information about the Clarion Pointe brand.
Sure. You can go to choicedevelopment.com to get more information about it, and you can also go to clarionpointe.com where you can read a little bit more about the inspiration and the promise behind this new brand.
Great, and that was a great interview, and I would have to say we got straight to the, sorry about this, point on that one, and Pointe does have an E at the end of it. It's Clarion Pointe, Pointe, so it's a little bit different, and it gives you lots of opportunities to have lots of great puns, unlike the one that I just had now. And thanks so much for being here.
You bet. You stayed on point the whole time, Glenn.
Oh, God. It's gonna get worse from here. I'm glad this conversation is over. I want to thanks for everyone listening.